because I looked back at my life years ago, and I decided to get my stamp collection and my other papers together. And I went to the County Cullen Library in Harlem, and I wanted to make a copy. I worked in the film industry, and one of Spike Lee's books about the making of Do the Right Thing, there's a mention that he had to have a meeting with me and Robert De Niro, who's a friend of mine, separately that day. So I made a copy of the page. As I was walking out of the County Cullen Library, I saw a Harlem Renaissance dictionary, and I said, maybe they have my grandfather, Leonard Harper, in there. And I opened up the book, and I saw Leon Harper. It was spelled wrong, one paragraph, but it had BB on the bottom of it. The librarian said, BB means blacks in blackface. And even though they spelled my grandfather's name wrong in that book, he says, go to the Schomburg and get blacks in blackface. I found 8 pages on my grandfather. I knew it was a pop era. But I attribute a lot of that to Felipe, because I watched how they kicked the gate down and let everybody in for free. So it's like a piece of this. I wasn't there, but I felt like I did so much research, deep research. I felt like I was in a time machine, and I wasn't going to let it be like, I wasn't going to let it like make everything hunky dory. You know, like there was no racism. I wanted to show the race, and I experienced a lot of racism working in the film industry today. You know, I mean, when I was doing it, and I know there's a lot more today. It's hidden. It's stealth.
It's still here.
It's stealth. So I wanted to make sure that this was not going to be a book of black people singing and dancing for white people, getting tips and being happy. I wanted to show the pain, and I show pain in this too with the heroin. I had a babysitter who later became main. I was in 2 movies on Mike Nichols' Heartburn with Jack Nicholson and Meryl Streep.
I saw it. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I just had a walk on. He wanted me to be in the baby scene. He was teasing me. He said I looked like the baby. And my mother said I looked like an escaped convict because they put the hospital clothes on me. And I was in another movie called, Charles Lane wrote a silent, it had a little music in the background, like Ode to Charlie Chaplin, a black version. And it was called Sidewalk Stories. And I was supposed to be a homeless man in that. They didn't tell me. So I'm sitting outside of the house in Teaneck, and I wanted to go to college. I went to Lincoln University for a couple of days. I didn't like that. So I called up my gay mafia connection, and I told him I wanted to go to Marquette because I thought Marquette was a black college because I saw the black basketball players on TV. And I got out there. I was stuck out there with all the white pumpkin farmers for a whole year.
Okay.
And the black people hated me too because a lot of them, they weren't like New York. You know, like they lived, some of the black people, to me, seemed like they lived in little towns where they might have been the one black family surrounded by Trump people. You know what I mean? And what would it be like living like that? Because you got people hanging nooses on the tree at night, you know, tarring and feathering. And so when I tried to talk to a lot of the black people, they were scared of me because they just scared, period. They didn't even want to come into the dining room and eat with the white people. They had like little plastic trays. They'd bring them up to their rooms because they were so afraid of the white people. So I'm going to write about my experiences at Marquette and my experiences at Bard and Bard College and graduating from there and being part of the working world. At Bard, like, for instance, a couple of little kids broke out of juvenile, they were juvenile delinquents. They were in